This time on Film Ranker, we are looking at the top 10 live-action movies based on video games. Video game movies have famously run from okay to bad to straight up terrible, but while the genre may not have exactly produced any award winners, there are still enough fun watches and guilty pleasures to make a top 10 list. So let's count them down. Number 10. Doom. The 10th spot on this list was a toss-up between two movies starring The Rock. And while Rampage does have some fun moments, Karl Urban gets the edge over the gorilla. Doom is pretty easy to adapt. Just have some guys with guns in space shooting demon zombies. And to its credit, this movie does exactly that, with the aforementioned Rock and Urban as the leads. It may not have much depth, but it never needed to. Number 9. DOA. Of all the video game movies, this one might stay closest to its roots. In the first 10 minutes, we are already on the island watching a fighting tournament featuring ninjas, soldiers, and wrestlers all dressed for the beach. Like the video game it is based on, it does not take itself too seriously, but with Jamie Priestley and Devon Aoki as the leads and Eric Roberts and Kevin Nash supporting, there is some low-budget fun to be found. Number 8. WARCRAFT. If you are like me and have played 0 minutes of World of Warcraft, there are going to be a few big hurdles to cross in this ludicrously written, big-budget action version of the fantasy MMORPG game. But it is the highest-grossing video game movie of all time, and it's certainly more polished than you might expect it to be. So if you're one of the millions that play the game, I'm betting this might be worth a watch. Just don't expect too much from the ending. Number 7. Sonic the Hedgehog. The old animated character needs to get home after being stuck in the real world story has never worked. Just ask the Smurfs and He-Man. But to its credit, Sonic gets closer than most. There are at least a few shout-outs to the source material, stuff like Green Hill, The Rings, and of course Dr. Robotnik, played by a slightly too over-the-top Jim Carrey, and Ben Schwartz does a great job with the voice. It's not breaking any new ground, and it's definitely made for kids, but there's enough in there for Sonic lovers. Number 6. Silent Hill. This is another instance where I haven't played the game, so I can't tell you how true to the original it is, but I can tell you that it is creepy as all get out. It is the story of a mom wandering around a way too scary ghost dimension looking for her daughter amidst zombie nurses and the terrifying Pyramid Head. And it has more than a handful of legitimate scares. It maybe goes a bit too long and gets a little bit convoluted, but it's a better straight-up horror movie than you might expect. Number 5. Tomb Raider. I'm splitting this spot between the 2001 and 2018 films. Cradle of Life is best left forgotten. Both Jolie and Vikander do a pretty good job of bringing the titular heroine to life, and both movies have some pretty fun treasure hunting. 2001 has a stronger supporting cast with Jon Voight and Daniel Craig. 2018, however, benefits from better effects. Both are fairly paint by numbers, but both are pretty fun action-adventure movies. Number 4. Street Fighter. It has been called the best bad movie ever made, and that makes a lot of sense. The movie is crazy. There are a bunch of weird changes from the games. The effects look like something out of Power Rangers. The casting mostly makes no sense. The story is a mess, but it is also really fun to watch. This is partly because a lot of it hits that so bad it's good chord just right, but also because Raul Julia is legitimately terrific as M. Bison. Julia is having the time of his life in this movie, and it shows in every "for me it was a Tuesday" evil line. It is B-movie gold. Number 3, Detective Pikachu. Who doesn't want to live in a world full of Pokemon? Seeing a city that is populated by Squirtle and Bulbasaur is legitimately rad. There are those that disagree, but for my money, choosing the slightly left-field Detective Pikachu game for the first big-budget real-world Pokemon movie was super smart, as it freed the filmmakers up to take more than a few chances. Ryan Reynolds does a great job as the voice of everyone's favorite electric rodent type. The human leads are solid across the board, and most of all, the movie delivers on dropping us into a world we've always wanted to visit. Number 2, Mortal Kombat. Watching the first Mortal Kombat movie is like staying up all night drinking Mountain Dew Code Red and playing video games with your friends. It might not have any real value, and it'll probably give you the sugar shakes, but it is fun as hell at the time. This is the movie that kicked off the career of video game to movie guru Paul W.S. Anderson, and it's easy to see why. Does the plot make sense? No. Is the dialogue good? Definitely not. But is it rad to watch Raiden call down the thunder, see Sonya Blade high-kicking, and hear Scorpion tell Johnny Cage to get over here? It really, really is. The PG-13 rating was a bit of a downer, but the now legendary soundtrack more than makes up for it. Number 1, Resident Evil. When you are talking video game movies, the top of the heap has to be the longest running series of them all. Resident Evil is now up to 6 films plus the animated spin-offs, with more than a few pretty decent entries in that mix. The series may have started a bit rocky with the firing of the legendary George A. Romero, but to Paul W.S. Anderson's credit, what we ended up with has been a solid take on the classic zombie shooter. It certainly helps that we have Mila Jovanovic playing the lead across the series, with a surprisingly solid supporting cast and some mostly good effects chipping in to help. Like all video game movies, these are not for everyone, but for gamers, this series is about as good as it gets. And that's it. Please let me know in the comments if I missed any of your faves. Assassin's Creed, Hitman, Double Dragon, Alone in the Dark? Probably not Alone in the Dark. Also, please like and subscribe and check out some of the other videos, and hopefully I will see you all next time.